Welcome to Drinks in the Library, the only library where drinks aren't just allowed, they are required. I'm your librarian host, Gigi Howard, and each episode I'll be interviewing a guest about a much-loved book that we will be pairing with a drink for you to enjoy along with us or consider for your next book club meetup. As always, stay curious and support your local library. Hello, Liberation Nation. In How to Save Your Own Life, Erica Jong follows novelist Isadora Wing as she grapples with fame, aging, marriage, and the search for personal freedom after the success of her earlier books. Sounds familiar to Erica Jong? Blending sharp humor with emotional honesty, the novel explores identity, desire, and self-reinvention in the face of midlife uncertainty. My guest this week is award-winning author and creator Selene Castrovilla. She explores the courage, conscience, and reinvention that shapes both nations and also ourselves. She's written historical books for children, including George Washington's Spectacular Spectacles, The Glasses That Saved America. She also has a book for adults coming out that you'll hear more about in this episode. It is called Love the Ones You're With. It is written under the pen name S.J. Peralt. It'll be coming out later this year. Selene also has the podcast Life in Jest, and yours truly will be on an upcoming episode. Selene hosts that with her best friend Pascal. I had a blast recording with them. It was so much fun. They let me talk about libraries, which, hello, all day, every day. You can find out more about Selene at her website, selenecastrovilla.com, and also under her pen name, s.j.peralt author on TikTok and also Instagram. Also, it has been over 2 years that Drinks in the Library has been running ad-free. I have gotten so many questions on how y'all can support me. I am finally on Patreon, patreon.com/drinksinthelibrary. I hope you listen to me there for just $5 a month. You can support the show, listen to ad-free episodes, and also more exciting content will be coming up just for Patreon listeners going forward. I really hope you head over there and follow me on Patreon. All right, let's get to it. All right. Hi, Selene. We are here.
Here's one thing I didn't tell you.
What?
My name is pronounced Selene.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
You could leave that. It's funny. I don't know.
Well, now everybody will know for sure. It's Selene. That's so pretty. Tell me the origin of your name.
Well, it is the name of the Greek moon goddess, but I am not Greek. I had an Italian grandmother who had that name too. A lot of Italians and Greeks have similar stories. And so I'm named for my Italian grandmother, but it is the Greek moon goddess. So
beautiful. Well,
in Italian, it's Selene. It's really easy to pronounce because every syllable is pronounced. So yeah. So in English, nobody ever gets it right. Never. Not one person.
Even if you had said it before, I've done this before where someone had the spelling was different, and I get so nervous. I will mispronounce. I will just say something totally crazy.
I try everything not to pronounce people's names because I'm so paranoid I'm going to get it wrong because my name's always gotten wrong. So I'm like, oh no. And I will do anything to not say someone's name just in case because I'm so paranoid.
Yeah. And I feel like Gigi is somewhat, people heard of Gigi Hadid and things like that. Yeah. But I still sometimes get, is it Gigi?
People it's unbelievable what people do. They used to call me Selena. But there's no A at the end. So what are you doing? But because of that, remember the singer Selena, right? So they just put it on whatever the person is the closest that they've heard of. That's how they make it. You know? And then they're like, Celine Dion. I'm like, but that's with a C. Not even, I'm used to it.
All right. Well, I'm excited. We're talking about postmodern feminist Erica Jong, the book 2, How to Save Your Own Life, right? I'm getting that right. Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, so tell us where you were, who you were when you read this book.
I was a younger mom. I was in my, I guess, late 30s. I don't remember the year, but I was here's what happened. First, I read Fear of Flying. which was her phenomenally successful, pretty much everyone's heard of it, even if they haven't read it type of book. And I read it because I was writing a book about I was writing a book called Lunar Rising, and Luna, it means moon, and my name is Moon. So it was kind of being like Erica Jong, right? Like using myself. But I wasn't familiar with the book, but something in my head kept saying, read Fear of Flying, read Fear of Flying. And it kind of, when I read it, it kind of gave me the impetus. So, oh, it's okay to use my own life and kind of, I mean, again, like her, not everything happened, but a decent amount, right? So I read that and I loved it. It was funny. There were certain things about it I was like, I don't even know, but basically I really liked it. Then I decided to read How to Save Your Own Life, and that gave me the courage to write the book that's actually coming out now, Love the Ones You're With, because she's exploring her sexuality in really open ways, and she's just doing things that were highly unacceptable, especially at that time. To talk about it in a book, it was not done really. And so I'm kind of going a little further in my book too, which I just felt like she was giving me, every time I read one of her books, it was like gave me permission to write what I wanted to write about. So How to Save Your Own Life really meant a lot to me. It made me not feel repressed anymore. It made me feel like, okay, I can say what I want to say too in my literature. So she really was a real hero to me.
And for some of the listeners who haven't read this book, haven't read Fear of Flying either, what are some of she does some interesting things. What are some of your favorite stories?
It's funny because rereading this made me think about it in a whole different way. But fear of flying is she really does have a fear of flying, but it's a metaphor for being afraid to fly on your own, to be, as a woman, to be totally free and be yourself. And so she's married to an Asian American, but she always called him Oriental. Okay. And there was a problem because after I read that, I kept saying Oriental, Oriental. And my friends, that's rugs. That's not people. I'm like, but it was in the book. And I knew it. But you know when you just read a book and you just like, you're taken over by something? Mm-hmm. But she winds up leaving her husband and going on this crazy fling with this guy. And the whole book is about her being free sexually. And first she was kind of dreaming it. And then she ran off with the guy. I mean, this is total spoilers here. So sorry, guys. But this is where it's not so feminist, because in the end, she goes back to her husband, which is, I thought that was odd.
Yeah.
So then this book starts off with her then leaving the man who she went back to. I have to tell you something. Okay. This book meant so much to me when I read it. And when I reread it, I hated it.
Oh no.
I'm like, what? I think when you're at a different point in your life, you get what you need from something. But I'm like, God, she's whining and whining about her life. She's so entitled. She's so rich. What is her problem? She went back to this man that she was unhappy with. Why? Right? There's really no good reason why she went back to him. And she's, what? And it's all about the marriage is dissolving. But meanwhile, she's still thinking about ovulating and she still wants to get pregnant. So it's like she's not even a reliable narrator to herself, because she doesn't even understand that she's saying contradicting things. And she wants to be, she's supposed to be a feminist, but again, all spoilers here, but see at the end, she doesn't leave him so she can fly free on her own. She doesn't leave him until she has another man to go to. What is that?
I mean, I guess it might be different. I do consider myself a feminist. I do not consider myself an expert on the history of feminism or where we are now.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I have to guess it's like the 70s. I guess feelings maybe were different than what we interpret.
I just think her own daughter said she wasn't a feminist.
Okay, so hang on. I was wondering if we were going to talk about her daughter, because her daughter had a huge book last year.
Yes.
What is it? How to Lose Your Mom, which is a take off this title. Did you read that?
I didn't read it, but I've read a lot of excerpts and I've read reviews of it. And I thought, wow, I mean, that sounds extremely powerful. It's terrible that Erica got dementia. It's horrible. I lost my aunt I've lost a lot of people, but that is just, the person just fades away right in front of you. It's awful.
Okay.
But the fact that her daughter had such a horrible childhood, like not horrible, beaten or anything, but she was ignored. Her mother was very into her mother. If you read this book, that really is her mother, and her mother's very into she acts like she's unassuming. She acts like she's shy. She's not shy at all. She just loves it. Okay. And to be her daughter must have been horrible, and it's confirmed because you want attention, but your mother is belongs to the world. Your mother and she says there was no part of her mother that was just hers. She got what everybody else got, and that's sad.
That's sad. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I want to dive into what you were talking about how reading this book gave you license, I guess,
Yeah.
to be more free in your own. So, as a writer, how important it is for you to be honest.
Oh, that's probably the most important thing. But there's different ways to define honesty, right? And to me, honest. I mean, a novel is honest, even though it's fiction. It has to have honesty. I have to believe in what I'm writing, and the voice has to be completely honest to the character. So that is really one of the main things I define if something's a good book. If I feel that the voice was honest.
Yeah. Well, and I think I'm just going to read some of the things I wrote down. I was listening to a talk she was giving at Penn America. She talks about don't expect approval for telling the truth. And also, this is not her quote. I don't know if you ever read Anne Lamott. I always am
Oh,
quoting.
Anne Lamott.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Well, I don't know if Anne Lamott's quote is, if people wanted you to write warmly about them, they should have behaved better.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Definitely.
Yeah. So I don't know. To me, that was really striking how Erica Jong, I know I just read Anne Lamott, but what she was saying was repeating that quote in my head.
Yeah.
How hard is it to tell the truth on things if you might be revealing things about other people or things that people don't want you to say?
Oh, it's really hard. But to me, the literature comes first, honestly, except for when it came to my kids. You know, I mean, that's different. But my kids are in Lunar Rising, but I mean, they were little. They were sweet kids. They didn't do anything rough. So it's okay. My ex-husband never read the book. He'd probably kill me.
Hang on, did you know he would? Were you like, he'll never read this? So
yeah, I would never read it.
Okay.
Yeah. I just he's just not that kind of a guy.
Okay.
My boyfriend that I wrote about in it in Lunar Rising, I said horrible things about him. Right? He was so flattered that he was in it. He walked around like I mean, so you never know how people are going to react. But did I care? I cared, but not enough to not write the truth.
Okay.
But I did change everybody's names and stuff. And I'm just going to say, oh, it's fiction. Not everything happened, because that keeps it safe.
Right.
What I mean?
Right.
You can't go around saying, oh, I was keeping a diary of all this happening. It was unbelievable, some of the things that happened. And I'm like, some of the things I jotted notes down as it happened. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I have to write about this. And so I wasn't sure what form this book would take, but I knew this is a scene in a book. So I was doing that a lot. But yeah, and this other one, oh my God, this new one is even more exposing, literally.
Okay.
So I decided I wanted to write a literary 50 Shades of Grey, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Oh, it's very graphic, but it's literary. And yeah. And this book really, Erica's book really did. She writes really graphic sex scenes in here. And so I was like, well, if she can do it, I can do it too. Because she is a literary writer. It wasn't like, I don't want to write smut. I'm not interested in that. Literature has honesty, as you said, and that hits the nail on the head for me. And I want to give something for people to think about. And she does too. And even though I did hate it this time, but it still gave me a lot to think about. It gave me a lot to think about, why do I hate it? And especially, why did I love it and why do I hate it? It really, when we read books over again, we're just not the same person. So we are going to take it differently. Mm-hmm. So I love The Catcher in the Rye, and I've read that a million times. And someone once said to me, how could you love The Catcher in the Rye? Serial killers love Catcher in the Rye. I'm like, well, surely other people than serial killers love The Catcher in the Rye, you know? I just love that book. But I always found different aspects about it that hit me differently when I read it. But this is the first book that I really got turned off by the book. I'm like, I can't believe how differently I feel about this book, because I just find her, I mean, maybe I'm just jealous because she's so friggin' successful. So I'm like, wait a minute. She doesn't have a real problem. Well, she's not walking away from any kids or anything. Her husband is a jerk, but yet she keeps sleeping with him. She thinks if she gets pregnant, oops, that'll fix it. And she runs to the arms of this other guy that she doesn't know him at all. At all. He's 26 years old. I'm like, what are you doing? How could you really expect this to work?
Yeah.
It was silly. I'm like, I can't believe she acted like that. And at the time, I found it kind of heroic when I was younger. And I And I'm like, wow, this is what I thought was heroic. But I mean, in Love the Ones You're With, she does also a lot of stupid things. I mean, we do stupid things, but I guess it's just I was shocked that I had seen it differently the first time.
Mhm.
I'm surprised at my own reaction before as versus now to the same thing. Like, wow, I really was in a different place then.
Right. Yeah. Well, so I'm thinking about how you felt it was heroic to try something new, to try something daring. I mean, we do learn things from mistakes that we make.
I don't feel like she did though. That's the thing about it, right? And then the next book is about that marriage failing, right? And her own daughter said the same basic things when I was reading interviews with her. And she said, my mother was no feminist. I was like, well, okay. But I just don't feel that she learned. And maybe she didn't have to learn as much because, like, when you don't have to worry about money, that is a real weight lifted off your shoulders. Now,
Mhm.
money has never been a motivator for me, never. Okay. But maybe it should have been more of a motivator because money does give you freedom to do what you want. And
Right.
otherwise, you're much more beholden into situations that you might not want to be in, right? But
Right.
she had so much money. She lived on that department was on 77th Street where they blow up the parade balloons. That's probably the wealthiest neighborhood in Manhattan, right? They're
Right.
totally rich. She's flying around all over the place. Then her
Mhm.
book makes a boatload, but she was already rich. I mean, I'm not saying rich people, of course, have problems, but she just doesn't really show any. She thinks she has problems. She's all tortured about this marriage. Oh, I was here with him for 8 years. But I just think here's another thing that I really didn't like about it. She gives away the end in the beginning. I don't understand why she did that. She starts off saying, I left my husband on Thanksgiving Day, right? And why don't you just start with the marriage in trouble and let us see that so we're surprised in the end that she leaves? Because the whole thing is a flashback.
Mhm.
They say never do, right? And I do it. I do it too, but I don't think I've ever written a whole novel as a flashback. But look, all these criticisms, I'm no perfect writer either, but I teach writing also. I have an MFA and I really do. I don't think I had the MFA when I read it the first time, so maybe I've become more critical in my reading, but I can't imagine why it was okay to start with the end and then flash back through everything just to get to the same place again. It didn't make sense to me.
Mhm.
Really bothered me. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, because where's the tension? You know,
I
what I mean?
guess you want to find out all the things that led up to the
Yeah,
dissolving of the marriage.
yeah, I guess. And she writes about a lot of famous people like Anne Sexton. It's sad how she writes about her suicide. That's another thing. She kind of tells us things. She says so and so died or whatever, and then she'll go into the scene more describing. Well, in writing, they say show don't tell, right? Well, why? And definitely don't tell us and then show us. You know what I mean? Why have you done that? So I'm being very critical, and I'm sorry because this book really did mean a lot to me before. Maybe it's feel it. Maybe it's like I've gotten a divorce from the book. I don't know.
Well, okay. Let's try to imagine who, if we're going to recommend this to somebody, I guess.
Yeah.
Who?
I'm saying somebody who is young, like younger and like questioning, what do I do now with my life? I'm unhappy. Okay. Because there's a lot of women, even now, with all we're taught about don't settle, this and that, they still do. And
Mhm.
the real problem, I think, is that well, there's a few things, but basically our primal instincts are a problem, right? We are driven to want to mate, to have, we just have this thing going on with us, right?
Mhm.
Menopause was the best thing that ever happened to me. I always say it's taking a pause from men. I love it. So like, because it took away that urge, like because I think it's not our fault altogether because
No.
we just have that urge. But and men too.
Yeah.
But also we are taught to we learn Cinderella. We learn, oh, the prince is going to come, and then we mistake someone for the prince.
Yeah.
And when we're young, I just don't think we know what love is yet.
Mhm.
I think it's the only way you really learn is through life experience. So when a woman in this book, she's 33, I think, something like that, 32, 33. So if you're whatever age you are, if you've come to a point where you're like, I'm not happy in my life. I want permission to live. I want to see what would happen if I flew, like Fear of Flying, right? This is a good book for that because she shows you that you can just leave something and start over, although that might not work out either. But I think it's very good to give someone permission. Okay, you don't have to stay in this one situation. And I think that's important.
I agree. And it was leading me to another question that you're not expecting.
Okay.
I'm assuming you are familiar or maybe have read Eat, Pray, Love.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great writer.
Yes. Feelings, because that's a similar kind of story. She's
Yeah.
rich woman, unhappy in her marriage, and flies off.
Yes. I didn't understand why she left him. He seems so nice.
I have never so I have read Elizabeth Gilbert. She's a very talented writer, but I have always, like, same thing you're saying. I have always just been like, this woman has all the privilege in the world and is a great writer, but doesn't seem to connect the dots.
No. You realize what a great writer she is if you see the movie, because the movie's so stupid. It's boring. And like, okay, this is a dumb story, but she made it so great. With her writing, it's so wonderful.
Yeah.
She's very talented.
Yeah.
I don't know why she left the husband. I didn't like the line where God told her to go back to sleep or something in the beginning. What? And in the movie, they actually had the voice of God telling her that.
Okay. I did not see the movie. I did not watch the movie.
Oh, it's boring. That's all I can say, because it doesn't have the writing in it. The writing is the entertaining thing. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't get why she left her husband at all. And then she cried over that other guy dumping her hysterically. Yeah. But in the movie, they made it that she leaves him. No. And then she's sobbing. She had a great line in the book. She's sobbing and weep with snots all over the place. And she puts in parentheses, dating tip. Men love this. It was so funny. She really is. But and then the praying part is kind of redundant. Okay, got it. You're praying. But she did write it really beautifully. And then, and then in the end, what happens? She winds up with this guy, right? Sorry, guys, it's a spoiler again. But but I mean, and then you know what happened? Ultimately, they got divorced.
Did you know? Now we're just going down the rabbit hole of the Elizabeth Gilbert drama, but everything that happened with the last book, what is called On All the Way to the River, where she falls in love with her best friend, who's a woman, and they have a few happy months, but then the best friend gets terminal cancer. And I have not read the book. I read a whole article that she wrote, basically telling the story. And then the best friend is an addict. And so then for some reason, Elizabeth Gilbert starts supplying her with cocaine and street drugs and all kinds of things because she's dying. So she's, well, who cares if I relapse? This is where we start losing me on the Elizabeth Gilbert train.
That's crazy. No, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of brave of her to confess that.
Erica Jong, Elizabeth Gilbert, I feel like they're in some ways very brave women.
Yeah, I agree. But Erica Jong has, that sounds mean, especially because she has Alzheimer's dementia. I do feel badly about
of course.
Yeah. But she has an arrogance about her that I really didn't find with, at least I didn't read this other book, but Eat, Pray, Love, I did not find Elizabeth Gilbert to be arrogant. Mm-hmm. I just felt her really longing for things that maybe that are just not to get. Like, I think you're looking for more. I think your life is what it is, and you don't have to go on all these. I mean, I like the idea of adventure, but I think in getting older, I realize I should just appreciate what I have in my life. I think sometimes you have to understand there might be more, but so what? What do you have right in front of you? This is not to say stay in an unhappy marriage, but I'm talking more about if you're just feeling like, oh, I don't like the place where I live. Well, branch out a little bit, but you don't have to go off to Brazil or Bali or whatever. I don't know. My thoughts have changed a lot. I have a very sad thing that happened. One of my sons died, and that has really changed. That really has made me think. I think that is the one thing that has changed me completely. And maybe a lot of the stuff is coming from that in some weird way. It just changes you forever to lose a child. And of course I'm like, well, maybe, and then when I read these books, they're, fiction, but about me that I wrote, I'm like, I really should have just stayed home. You know what I mean? He didn't die because I wasn't, he was an adult, but young. But I mean, you start really thinking about all your choices. And Erica Jong, I can't help but wonder, she had dementia, so it's not like she could read her daughter's book, but I wonder if she knew what her daughter was saying and how her daughter felt, would she regret the choices she made? because I mean, they had a child, basically, whoa, let's have a child. But then the kid didn't get the attention or anything. And I don't know. I guess I just think more in terms of, I am kind of clouded with a sadness these days, but I wrote, don't worry, because I wrote Love the Ones You're With before all this. But I think we do have a problem where we don't appreciate everything we have in our society. And we are, I mean, I'm talking about people like you and I, where I do think women have a disadvantage in general. We don't have an equal rights amendment, right? We don't have, we don't, we aren't not equal in the eyes of the law. So it's not like we're so privileged, but in a way, we are more than a lot of other people are. It's all weighed. So I don't know. But with her, when I saw her just running around, like, she's just doing these crazy things. And I'm like, oh, no, like and it would be one thing if it led to some sort of aha moment but it didn't, because every time she had aha moments every page. This is it. This is it. This is it. But I feel like she could have ended it really anywhere, because that was an aha moment for her. So to end it being with this guy, the 26-year-old, is just a random place to end it, really. I mean, because then they're divorced anyway in the next book. But I mean, look, it worked for her, and I am incredibly jealous about her success. I can't lie. Anybody who says, of course you want, it's not even the money. You just want a lot of readers. You want people to work. Yeah. But I just find her, she's just said, it's like she's bragging about a lot of things. And she looks down on people. She got a fan letter from somebody from Kansas, and she was really putting the person down. Like she put every misspelling in it. Leave the person alone. It's a fact, you know?
Yeah.
With the cab driver, and she put she emphasized his accent and the way he speaks, that he doesn't have perfect grammar or whatever. So what? You don't have to do that. She doesn't do that with anybody else.
Yeah.
I don't really like that. I don't like things at people's expenses.
Right.
I hope I don't do that in my writing. I try not to. I don't know. I just, she was honest though. And so that we have to say, because I bought a copy when I first read it, and I treasured that book, right? And I actually met Erica Jong. Right. I took a writing class at one of the public universities in New York, I can't think of it, Hunter. And she came and did a talk and a Q&A. And I wanted to ask her, again, as a writer, right? She wrote this in first person. She wrote Fear of Flying in first person. But at the very end of this book, there's an epilogue that's in third person. Why? Suddenly it's in third person. And then Parachutes and Kisses, which is the third book, is in third person. So I'm like, why? But I was so starstruck that I could not ask her the question. I was like that with two people, her and John Bon Jovi, when I met him.
Oh, well.
Yeah. John Bon Jovi. Yeah. I couldn't speak. So she signed my book, but I never did ask the question. So I just don't. Maybe nobody even notices except me. But as a writer, it's like, why is it suddenly in third person? Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's a choice. She had to know that she was doing it.
She did, but and I should have asked her when I could have. I really should. Because the epilogue all of a sudden is in the third person.
Yeah. And I will tell you, she's spoken about a lot of fear of flying, talked about fear of flying. She wrote another autobiography, I think in 2005 or 2006 or something. But this book, she's not on the record on much on it.
Oh, well, she did talk about it in an epilogue.
Okay.
This was an
epilogue
for, I think, International Women's Day or something.
Okay.
And she did talk about it, and she just said she stood by it, but she said she felt uncomfortable about it just by it's strange to read about what you did. She said she couldn't believe that she was that honest, but she didn't put it down in any way. I mean, she endorsed it to come out again, and so that's basically. She was like a little like, wow, I can't believe I did that, but I did it. But then she was like, oh, I did it. Kind of typical Erica Jong. Yeah. I really feel like when you read these books, it's like her talk. She really is being Erica Jong. One reviewer once pointed out, not only does Isadora Wing, the name of the character, write poems like Erica Jong, she writes the poems of Erica Jong because she used the same poems that have been published in other books. Okay, there's definitely no mask here whatsoever. Nothing. Which is gutsy. It's gutsy.
It is. Whatever you have to say about her, otherwise, she's gutsy, she's brave, all that stuff. So
she is. I did feel bad for Anne Sexton. I don't know because she committed suicide, and she didn't say anything bad about her, but I don't know, something so vulnerable writing about someone that's dead, especially by their own hand.
Yeah.
But I thought it was poignant that she gave her the character in the book of Anne Sexton, gave her the notebook and said, I want you to write in this, and why don't you call it How to Save Your Own Life, which is the title of the book. So obviously it's important. And I thought it was really interesting because here is a character that's suicidal asking her to save her own life. Mm-hmm. So she wanted to get out of her own life, but she was trying to help her. Like I really thought that was one of the most touching things in the book. There are touching moments in this book for sure. But Anne Sexton, what is her name in the book? Hold on a second. The character's name is Jeannie Morton. That's really Anne Sexton.
Okay.
And then so she gave her that, and then she wrote a note in it that she hadn't that Isadora didn't see until later, and it said, "How do you save your own life?" It's like someone's asking God. Someone asked God, "How do you save your own life?" And the answer is by being a fool. And I still don't understand what that means.
Oh, another question. If we could have asked her.
Yeah, I didn't think of that at the time.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of how to save your own life, the cocktail that you picked for us is called the Life Saver.
Yes.
Yes, and it has a dry sparkling or champagne.
Champagne, yeah. Well, it depends where you are. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the background of the drink?
Because I looked for something that Erica Jong drank. I couldn't. The only thing I could find was in How to Save Fear of Flying. She was always drinking champagne, right? She did drink in this book, but there was really nothing that particular about it. The way it was so prominent in Fear of Flying. Mm-hmm. So it's just the idea of her enjoying it, and I think champagne also is just like this bubbly, effervescent toast to life. So it's what we always toast with, and so I just came up with this cocktail because I just thought it was so her.
Yeah,
got the triple sec in it, and it's got the twist of the lemon for the little bitter zest, and I just feel like it's her. It's definitely a toast to her. As I've ripped her apart, I'm sorry. I don't know. I didn't expect to have this reaction, but I am honest. But and look, if I didn't read this book, I don't know if I ever would have written my novel that means so much to me. So it obviously was very important to me at the time. I just think we just grow out of things, and sometimes it's like when you go back and want to watch a movie that you loved, and I love this movie, did I? It's the same kind of thing. But at the time, it really meant a lot, and I feel like she said that even at the end. When she writes the note, oh yeah, I did all that and I admitted it. She was kind of like, wow, why did I do that? So I think honestly what bothered me the most about this book was the writing and the fact that she gave away the end. I'm like, why did you do that? But listen, it clearly works. I mean, you can't argue with her success and people. I didn't like to be really weirdly picky. I didn't like what she called Fear of Flying in the book. She called it Candida Confesses. It sounds like a weird porno book. I don't know. Fear of Flying is a great title, right?
Yeah.
I would have thought she would have come up with a cool title to match it. But Candida Confesses, I just didn't, I don't know. But it's weird what I think about because I'm a writer. So I'm like, why'd she do that? Like, something nobody else would even think of. Yeah. I'm so odd. I'm sorry.
Well, so let's talk about you. Let's put a spotlight on you, your projects, everything that's going on. Where can we start?
Well, Lunar Rising was my first women's fiction. And again, my name is Selene, and we've been put together the whole Erica Jong thing that it's a lot like me. And my best friend, I have this podcast called Life in Jest. And my best friend, in the book, my best friend's name is Sunny. And in real life, my best friend's name is Pascal. And we really are Luna and Sunny. It's Luna and Sunny doing the podcast because she's my best friend in real life, and she was my best friend in the book. I don't have to hide her identity. She loves it. I just would always write down exactly things she said because she's so freaking funny. It's funniest stuff. So I wrote that, and it has enjoyed success. So it got an award. It got the Book Excellence Award, and so then I wrote Love the Ones You're With, but it took me forever to find a publisher for it. So now it's coming out. It's coming out from the Wild Rose Press this year, but I don't know when. They didn't give me a release date yet, which is it's hard because you want to be able. But I'm with these small. I don't think it's just small presses anymore, but with most presses now, they don't actually give away a physical ARC anymore, which is an advanced reader copy.
Right.
It's so expensive
Yeah.
now because I have books come. I talk about a different book. I have a book called Twice Enslaved that just came out, which is a middle grade book about a woman named Henrietta Wood that was enslaved twice and ultimately was freed on Juneteenth, and she got the most reparations ever. So I write very different things. I write picture books as well. But all that to say that publisher didn't give out physical ARCs either. It was all on, you read it on, there's a couple of services that you get them. But for Love the Ones You're With, I really wanted people, I joined TikTok. By the way, I'm doing it under a pen name because I write these children's books. And
Okay.
that book is full out like Erica Jong.
Got it.
I can't have children mistakenly picking up that book with my name on it. And I also, who knows what the parents are going to think? You know what I mean? It's just, I'm admitting it's me publicly, but I think I draw the line where the name is SJ, which are my initials, Selene Joy, and Perot. I only chose the name Perot because it's close to Tom Perrotta. And I'm like, well, I write similarly. He wrote Mrs. Fletcher, which is kind of like the woman running wild after her kid goes to college. I'm like, that's sort of similar. So I thought, if I'm going to pick a name, it might as well be close to Perrotta so it could sit on the bookshelf next to Perrotta.
Okay.
Is that ridiculous? But it's under S.J. Perot.
Okay.
And I had my own ARCs printed, which is it's not as expensive as you would think, but it's not cheap either. It adds up. So I went on TikTok, and I have a TikTok for Selene Castrovilla, but honestly, TikTok is not the greatest for promoting children's books and things. It's just not the place for that, really. It doesn't do that great because it's just not what people are looking for on TikTok. But I have this SJ Perot account, and so I'm giving away the ARCs, and I'm giving away not just the ARCs, but like a PR box filled with all kinds of gifts, right?
Okay.
All wrapped up with a big bow. I'm not going to say what's in the boxes because it hasn't been revealed yet. I just sent out the first ones. And the whole thing on TikTok is that the influencers love to open the book open not just the book, but the box on TikTok and wrap everything. And these days, careers are made on TikTok.
They are.
So
They are.
I have a friend who is now who was a New York Times bestseller. And I'm like, wow, how did you do it? I'm like, did you go on TikTok? She's, I did. She did. She went on TikTok. So, because she has fantasy books also do very well on TikTok.
Okay.
So she has fantasy.
Yes.
So I said, I'm going to do that. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm putting all my marketing budget that I don't really have, but I'm doing it anyway, all for the ARCs and the book boxes on TikTok. So if anybody wants to follow me on TikTok, SJ Perot, which is Perrault, SJ author, they can get a PR box or at least a book, at least an ARC. But
Okay. All right. I'm following you right now.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
You have almost 5,000 followers. Good for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Well, I think people, they really, if you're honest on TikTok, they like you there too. And I am very honest. I admit I'm me. I admit that SJ Perot is a pen name, but I explain why. And, people have kids. They don't want their kids to see this. They don't pick up the wrong book either. And I enjoy the community. It was a surprise because TikTok, when you look at it like, oh, is it that do I have to dance? I don't want to dance. You just have to really be authentic and share your story and having a cute box that people want. Hey, who doesn't want this pretty box? That's all with the ribbons and all these things. And there's a lot of really good stuff in that box.
Okay.
So I recommend TikTok to people if they're book talk.
Right.
It's a great community. It's a great community. So I'm having a ball on there. Yeah.
Good.
But I also write the children's books.
Yes.
And my book, Revolutionary Friends, which is General George Washington and the Marquis de Lafayette, has sold almost 100,000 copies.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely my bestseller. And yeah, I love I that's another crazy thing about me. I love history. I fell in love with the people.
Mhm.
Like when I was in school, it was so boring. You hear about these battles and these dates. What does that even mean? But I found that when I found out that George Washington had a spy ring, which more people know about now because there was a show about it,
Yeah.
the Cold Spies. But where I grew up, nobody told me. I lived on Long Island. I did not know we had anything to do with the revolution. And we did. And we had the spy ring. And the spy ring really was one of the major reasons why we won the war because he couldn't outfight the British, so he outspied them. George Washington is this magnificent man who thought of different ways. He didn't just give up. What a lesson for us, right?
Yeah.
What a lesson. You don't give up. You just keep going. You find another way. If he wasn't in charge, we wouldn't be a country.
Yeah.
So I wrote about him. I wrote the Revolutionary Friends is about Lafayette and his relationship, father-son relationship, really important for winning the war because we needed the French. Lafayette convinced the French king to help us. If not for this relationship with this teenage boy, okay, who gave up everything to come here, left his family behind, paid for his own ship, and did everything he could just because he wanted us to be free. This man had no motive other than to help us. Okay. What a beautiful thing. A teenager. You can't get teenagers to take out the garbage these days, right? This guy went over, he got seasick for a month. He's amazing. So you could say, I just fall in love with these people. And then my most recent book about George Washington is called George Washington's Spectacular Spectacles, The Glasses That Saved America. And I wanted to write this this took me, it's not cost effective to write these books. They always take many years. These books take the longest.
Yeah.
And this book, I worked on it for a solid 10 years and it was not working. It's about the Newburgh Conspiracy, which most people never heard of. But it almost ended democracy before democracy started. At the very end of the war, we already won the last battle, but all the paperwork was being done. George Washington's officers were very upset because they hadn't been paid in years. And they knew that once the papers were signed, they would no longer be needed. There was debtors' prison then. They would go to prison, okay? They would be ruined. They were broke, right? So they were kind of goaded into it, but they decided that if they didn't get paid, they were going to storm Congress and do a military coup.
Oh, wow.
There would go democracy before it even got established officially. So George Washington, meanwhile, got glasses and he was hiding them because at the time it was a sign of frailty. It was before they were the bifocals kind of made them cooler, but this was before the bifocals. And he was always hiding them. So nobody knew he had them. So he found out that the men were planning this. And his heart was broken because he loved his officers. They worked side by side. There were a lot of times when there was mutiny in the troops, and he just had them hanged. They were just like look, I understand you have to put it down, otherwise more and more people are going to do it. You have to make a firm stand, I guess. And believe me, I'm a pacifist. The whole thing is bizarre to me, war, but I believe we needed this war. But so he was heartbroken about his men, but I have to do something. So he asked them to postpone their meeting. They were going to vote to do it. He asked them to postpone it for a few days. And he got a member of Congress to write a letter promising that they were going to get paid no matter what. But he also wrote his own beautiful speech. And he was not used, everybody loved his speeches. He always was used to his speeches working. So he went to the meeting unannounced and he said, "May I speak?" Well, of course, they're not going to say no.
Yeah.
So he walked in and he gave this beautiful speech, but the men were unmoved. So he didn't know what to do. So he had the letter, but he had to put on the glasses in order to read the letter. That meant revealing that to his men. So he put them on, and they were like, they couldn't believe it, right? And so he said the most amazing thing. He said, "Gentlemen, you must forgive me for having grown gray in your service. I now find myself growing blind." And that reminded them of all he'd sacrificed with them because he'd always been there with them. He never just stood from afar. And they started weeping, and they immediately pledged their loyalty to him. And the whole thing ended just by him putting on a pair of glasses. Isn't
Wow.
that a beautiful story?
It's beautiful. That is cool. When I'm sitting here, I don't have glasses on because I've got a ring light. You can see that.
The book is for anybody that wears glasses for sure. And I actually got a bucket list for that. That was reviewed in the New York Times. That was a really big thrill. I love who doesn't want to get reviewed in the New York Times.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. So look, I'm very happy with my career. I get to do these things that I love. But that book didn't take 10 years to get published too, because to make it, I wound up making it funny, but with pathos. So it's funny, but it's the truth. It's got the truth in it, but it's also funny. And the artist is so perfect. I can't even tell you. It's so great. But she made it. Oh, we just won the Colonial Dames of America Young Readers Award for 2026.
Wow,
Yeah, we're
congratulations.
I'm gonna thank you. I'm gonna my editor and I, the illustrator Jen Harney can't make it, but we're going to go to the city, and it's in Manhattan at the New York Library, and it's gonna be a great time. So I'm really
Well, cheers to that. Cheers to you. Thank you so much for spending this time with me and talking all about your work and your book and love-hate relationship with Erica Jong.
I love her because she really did let me see the possibilities. Maybe I'm way too critical on her, and I probably am. I encourage people to read it and judge for themselves. I don't want to turn anybody ever off to a book, except maybe 50 Shades of Grey.
Read your book instead.
But I just judge for yourselves, guys. But it is a very liberating book. It makes you feel like, why not? Maybe I should go take a chance too.
Love that. All right, Selene, this has been absolutely lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, very good.
It was great meeting you. I'm a fan of your podcast. I listen all the time. I love it.
Thank you.
You make me want to read books that I never thought I would want to read. That one with the robots. Oh my God. I never thought I would want to read that book, but your conversations are fascinating. They really draw me in. I love them.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I wasn't expecting the compliment, but thank
you. You're great. That's when I was afraid to write to you. I'm like, oh, she's so perfect. I'm going to mess the whole thing up.
This has been amazing. This has been amazing. Thank you. Thank you for spending some time with me and my guests for an episode of Drinks in the Library. For more information about the show, you can find us on Instagram at Drinks in the Library, on the World Wide Web, drinksinthelibrary.com, or shoot me an email at drinkspod@gmail.com. Until next time, cheers.